Former Vice President Mike Pence announced his candidacy for the White House today.
That's right, and joining us live to discuss this topic and more is WSFA's White House correspondent Jon Decker. Jon, how does Pence view his path to securing the Republican nomination?
The way he views it is one in which he needs to win Iowa, and he believes he can win Iowa. And the reason being is because the makeup of the Republican electorate that takes part in the Iowa caucuses, it's primarily evangelical Christians, and this is part of Mike Pence's base. He believes that he can secure a win in the Iowa caucuses, and he believes if that happens, it will reset the race for the Republican nomination. It will give him tremendous momentum in the states that follow, next in New Hampshire and following that down in South Carolina. So that's the way Mike Pence views this race. Of course, if he fails in Iowa, I think that ends his candidacy.
Jon Pence had a rally in Iowa today. He's doing a CNN town hall tonight. How's he being received by Republican voters?
Well, it's the first day, but so far so good. Very well received. A good crowd that he had for his first event in the suburbs of Des Moines, Iowa. And as you point out, CNN town hall that will take place tonight. So it's an opportunity for Mike Pence to sell his candidacy, his message, not only to those voters in Iowa, but also to Republican voters all throughout the country that will take part in terms of choosing who will be the Republican nominee.
Pence is the most conservative candidate competing for the presidency. Will that help him in the GOP primary?
He thinks so. He says that the Republican electorate will choose a true conservative. That's the way he's selling himself. He views himself as a true conservative in terms of a number of issues. On social issues, no one has a more conservative policy as it relates to the divisive issue of abortion. He thinks that his position is aligned with Republican voters. And he also has a different viewpoint from some Republicans as it relates to national security. He views himself as a national security hawk, talks about the importance of helping out Ukraine in their war against Russia. He thinks that the majority of Republican voters align with his position on that foreign policy issue as well.
Turning to other news now, any reaction from the Biden administration to the news announced yesterday that the PGA plans to merge with Saudi-backed Live Golf?
You know, it's interesting. 2 days in a row, the White House has been asked questions about this merger, and I would call it a proposed merger between Live Golf and the PGA. And for 2 days in a row, they've essentially said no comment. Even President Biden, when he was asked this question yesterday in the cabinet room of the White House, I was there, and he essentially said no comment. He did not want to comment on this particular issue, but it's an issue that remains an issue as it relates to the Department of Justice. They continue their investigation into alleged anti-competitive behavior by the PGA. That investigation will certainly continue.
On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is back in trouble with his own party. Why are some Republican lawmakers threatening to stop the business of the House?
They are still so upset by the deal that the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy struck with President Biden that averted that debt default, that debt ceiling deal that was signed by President Biden last week. They feel that the Speaker of the House went back on some of the promises that he made in terms of securing the speakership, and as a result, they say they will hold up some of the business of the House of Representatives until they extract certain other promises from the House Speaker. So that's the reason why, more than anything else, those conservatives, about 10 of them that are members of the House Freedom Caucus, say they're upset with the House Speaker.
Jon Decker live in Washington, D.C., bringing us the latest from Capitol Hill. Thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thank you.